Sekarang kita akan memasuki periode Hakim Israel terakhir sebelum dilanjutkan dengan era kerajaan. Samuel sebagai hakim terakhir memiliki latar belakang yang menunjukkan adanya tangan kuasa Allah atas keberadaan Samuel dan menjadikan Samuel sebagai pemimpin Israel yang benar. Samuel menggantikan Eli yang gagal melaksanakan peran keimamannya di mata Tuhan, khususnya berkenaan dengan kejahatan anak-anak Eli. Sejak kecil, Samuel memperlihatkan dirinya diperkenan oleh Allah, yang memanggilnya untuk menjadi hakim bagi Israel. Sayangnya Samuel gagal mendidik anak-anaknya karena kesibukannya, sehingga bangsa Israel meminta seorang raja untuk menggantikan Samuel saat Samuel berusia tua. Bangsa Israel menetapkan kriteria duniawi bagi raja mereka, sehingga pada dasarnya bangsa Israel menolak Allah. Allah sendiri memiliki beberapa kriteria bagi seorang raja. Saul terpilih menjadi raja Israel yang pertama setelah melalui serangkaian proses yang awalnya tidak sepenuhnya lancar. Ternyata Saul bukanlah raja ideal di mata Allah, sehingga harus ditegur melalui Samuel.
Your Highness, King Saul, the prophet Samuel, he is here.
May the Lord bless you. I have carried out the Lord's command.
What then is this bleating of the sheep in my ears and the lowing of the oxen which I hear?
It's true that the army spared the best of the sheep and cattle, but they're going to sacrifice them to the Lord your God. We have destroyed everything else.
The Lord has anointed you king of Israel, and the Lord sent you on a mission and told you, go and completely destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, until they are all dead. Why haven't you obeyed the Lord?
But I did obey the Lord. I carried out the mission he gave me. I brought back King Agag, but I destroyed everyone else.
Listen! Obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offering the fat of rams.
Yes, it's true. I've disobeyed your instructions and the Lord's command. I was afraid of the people and did what they demanded. Now please forgive my sin and come back with me so that I may worship the Lord.
I will not go back with you. Since you have rejected the Lord's command, he has rejected you as king of Israel. Thus the Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today, and has given it to someone else, one who is better than you.
Kepribadian Saul memiliki kelemahan yang fatal, khususnya dalam kaitannya dengan rasa bersalah atas ketidaktaatan pada perintah Allah. Padahal ketaatan merupakan prinsip penting bagi Allah. Sehingga Saul mengalami proses menuju kematian yang tragis. Walaupun tetap mendapat kebaikan Allah. Kita akan melihat perbedaannya dengan Daud yang mengawali kisahnya di dalam pertarungannya dengan Goliath.
God's story, David and Goliath. So part of God's story is about the time David fought Goliath, and it begins like this. David was the youngest of 8 brothers. His job was being a shepherd, which meant he spent all day in a field watching sheep eat and roll around the grass. Meanwhile, some of his brothers were off with the Israeli army preparing for war against the Philistines. The Philistines were one of the toughest armies the people of Israel had to fight. So one day, David was taking food to his brothers because his dad asked him to. But when he got there, his brothers accused him of coming so he could watch the fight instead of the sheep. Since David knew in his heart he was just obeying his dad, he didn't mind being misunderstood. Anyway, while David was there, he saw a huge Philistine man, more than 9 feet tall, step onto the field between the 2 armies. He was wearing a thick helmet and armor and carrying huge weapons. His name was Goliath, and he was definitely used to being the winner. David found out that Goliath had been stepping onto the field like this every morning for the past 40 days and saying, "Give me a man and let us fight each other." But nobody from Israel was brave enough to fight him, even the king. Well, David didn't like that this giant was intimidating the Israelites. After all, they were God's special family. And because God was with the Israelites, they could have courage in any situation. So David, who wasn't even a soldier, told the king, "I'll fight against him." Now, the king thought David was too small, but he really wanted someone to fight Goliath. So he gave in. And David knew he wasn't strong enough to beat Goliath by himself, but he believed God would be with him. So he said, "The Lord will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." The king hoped David was right. He even had his own weapons and armor put on David, but they didn't fit him. David decided to go into battle in his regular clothes. That's how sure he was that God would help him. Anyway, David went to a nearby stream and chose 5 smooth stones to use with his slingshot. Then he walked onto the battlefield to meet the massive Goliath. When Goliath saw how wimpy David looked, he was furious. He thought he'd get to fight the Israelites' strongest warrior. He said to David, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? I'll give your flesh to the birds and wild animals." David might have looked like a wimp, but he was actually really brave. In fact, he was so brave that when he was taking care of sheep, he fought off bears and lions. Because God helped him protect his sheep, David knew God would help him protect this special family. David said, "You come at me with a sword, but I come at you with the name of the Lord Almighty." He was explaining to Goliath that God was more powerful than anything. He also added that he would feed Goliath's flesh to the birds, which made the giant even more mad. Then David took a stone, put it in the slingshot, and slung it at Goliath. Goliath didn't even get a chance to swing a sword because the stone hit him right in the forehead and sunk in deep. He face-planted straight into the ground. Nobody could believe it. Then David ran over, took hold of the giant's sword, and drew it from the sheath. He took the sword and cut off Goliath's head. David carried the head all the way back to Jerusalem. And when the Philistine army realized Goliath was dead, they started running away like a bunch of scaredy cats. The Israelites chased the Philistines, shouting loudly. They had won. God used David, who was just an average kid, to rescue his people. And that's the story of David and Goliath. So, in case you missed it, here's the quick version. David was a shepherd. He brought his brothers lunch. He saw Goliath. Goliath scared everybody. David wasn't scared. He knew God was stronger. David fought Goliath. He used one stone. God helped him kill Goliath. The Israelites won. God's people were saved. And that's a part of God's story.
Daud dipilih Allah menjadi raja menggantikan Saul dengan kriteria yang berbeda. Sebelum menjadi pemimpin, Daud juga mengalami proses pembentukan yang tidak mudah. Perjalanan menuju tahta kerajaan juga ditempuh Daud dengan penuh perjuangan. Akhirnya, Daud menjadi raja Israel secara penuh karena ketaatannya pada pimpinan Tuhan. Kemudian, Daud memulihkan kehidupan beragama melalui penempatan tabut Allah ke ibu kota kerajaan Israel. Kita melihat bahwa ada proses di dalam Perjanjian Daud. Perjanjian Daud ini kelak akan menjadi dasar penting bagi Perjanjian Baru. Salah satu kelemahan Daud dapat kita lihat di dalam kisah sensus yang dinilai berdosa di mata Allah. Namun sekaligus memperlihatkan akan kemurahan Allah bagi umatnya. Kisah Batsheba mungkin merupakan dosa terberat Daud. Yang harus dibayar mahal oleh Daud sebagai konsekuensi hukum kekudusan dan keadilan Allah. Tanpa menghilangkan anugerah kasih Allah yang Maha Kasih. Kemudian Daud digantikan oleh putranya yaitu Salomo. yang mengawali kepemimpinannya dengan rendah hati, sehingga beroleh anugerah sangat melimpah dari Allah baginya dan bagi Israel. Bahkan kerajaan Salomo merupakan gambaran kerajaan Allah kelak. Sayangnya, Salomo gagal untuk tetap setia melakukan perintah Allah. Khususnya dalam hal wanita, sehingga mendatangkan perpecahan bagi Israel. Demikianlah kita sudah mempelajari tentang Samuel dan ketiga raja Israel.